Welcome to Bittensor Weekly, your source of truth for everything happening in the Bittensor ecosystem. I'm your host, and this is episode 22, Sunday, August 23rd, 2026. TAO broke out and kept going. The v445 release notes dropped, with the biggest EVM expansion the chain has seen in one release. TAO went live on Base through Chainlink CCIP, and Teutonic released a 10 billion parameter model that beats Quasar-Preview and Covenant-72 despite being up to 7 times smaller. Let's get into it. Story 1. TAO broke out. Live from MEXC at recording time, TAO is trading at $226.19. 24-hour change is up 1.51%. 24-hour range, 214.75 to 229. 7-day change is up roughly 18%. 205 had capped every rally attempt for weeks. That level cleared Wednesday. 225 broke on Friday. Market cap is now $2.5 billion. What's driving it? Per CoinMarketCap on August 21st, the near-term move is best explained as a Bitcoin-led macro rally, with TAO moving in sympathy as a prominent decentralized AI asset. Local catalysts on top of that are Root Reborn's sell pressure reduction from earlier in August, the Mentat Lend and Bitroo product launches, the v445 release, and the Base integration we're about to cover. If TAO holds above 225, the next resistance is around 250. If it fails, 205 becomes the retest. Story 2. TAO went live on Base. Wednesday, August 20th, Aerodrome announced that TAO is officially live on Base as a one-to-one bridged asset, secured by Chainlink CCIP. The new TAO USDC pool on Aerodrome is eligible to receive AERO emissions, which is a direct incentive for liquidity providers to seed the pool. The context: Chainlink CCIP is the cross-chain messaging layer connecting Bittensor to Base. Aerodrome is Base's leading decentralized exchange, so this launch means TAO now has native access to Base's DeFi market. Base wallets and applications, including Base's growing AI-focused wallet and agent ecosystem, can now hold, trade, and route through TAO for the first time. The strategic read: Bittensor got Mentat Lend last week for native lending. It got Bitroo and MEXC for exchange staking. This week, it got Aerodrome for cross-chain DX liquidity. 3 DeFi entry points in 3 weeks. Root Reborn ended automatic sell pressure 2 weeks ago. New buy pressure just got a lot more infrastructure to run through. Story 3. The v445 release dropped. The Foundation published the v445 release notes earlier this week. This is the largest EVM expansion in the release train's
5 new precompiles: scheduler, Drand, timestamp, runtime configuration, and a precompile registry that lets contracts check which precompiles are currently disabled. Those 5 new precompiles add 31 functions. Existing interfaces receive 135 additions split, 68 state-changing methods, and 67 typed views. 2 other changes worth flagging: native TAO transaction fees and EVM fees are set to be recycled instead of paid to the block author. Eligible alpha paid fees will be sold to TAO and recycled in the same transaction. And btcli now has first-class multisig support plus a dry-run JSON flow that returns a replay command for policy engine review. One important caveat: the release page identifies this as v445 spec 445 dated August, but does not publish a specific activation block. So the release notes have dropped, but we are treating on-chain activation as pending until signers act on the release train and we see a confirmed mainnet marker. Story 4. Teutonic-I ships and beats bigger models. Teutonic on Subnet 3 released Teutonic-I, its first 10 billion parameter model. Per the OpenTensor Foundation's ecosystem highlights posted August 16th, Teutonic-I ranks first on 8 of 11 benchmarks in a comparison against other decentralized pre-trained models. It beats Quasar-Preview at 18 billion parameters and Templar's Covenant at 72 billion, despite being up to 7 times smaller than the largest models in the comparison. The context matters. 3 weeks ago, the ecosystem was arguing about whether Quasar's model was copied from Ant Group. Teutonic just published a smaller, better, trained-from-scratch answer. One caveat: the OpenTensor post did not name the 11 benchmarks. Independent third-party rerun will follow. Rapid fire. UR Network launched as Subnet 25 on Tuesday with Jack AI Lung, Brian Colwell, and Keith Sinnery as co-founders. privacy positioning, user count claims are project reported and not verified. Hippius Drive on Subnet 75 went live for encrypted personal cloud storage. Green Compute on Subnet 110 is bringing 250 RTX 5090 GPUs online for Bittensor. IOTA's Orion 16 billion passed 100 billion training tokens, and Leadpoet on Subnet 71 won Best Product at the OKX Genesis Hackathon. Vidaio, Subnet 85. Vidaio announced this week that it is powering Cabine, PIP Studios' new AI video platform. Why that matters: PIP Studios is a production services company whose stated client roster includes Sony, Paramount, Amazon, Universal, and Netflix. Cabine brings V.io's full video generation toolset under PIP's own brand, so PIP can offer it directly to those Fortune 500 entertainment clients. The public industry debut is scheduled for IBC 2026 in September.
This is a materially bigger enterprise validation than most Subnet partnership announcements. The pattern for the past year has been Bittensor teams pitching decentralized AI to enterprise buyers who preferred centralized providers. Vidaio flipped that pattern. PIP Studios reviewed the video generation output and decided it was strong enough to attach their brand to it and offer it to name-brand entertainment clients. The mechanic: Vidaio's miners compete on video generation quality across multiple task types. Validators score outputs against reference standards. Winning models get rewarded, and their weights or APIs feed the CABIN production stack. Real revenue potential against a delivered product. The numbers to watch: Vidaio's alpha token, emission share, and miner count are the standard subnet metrics, but the more interesting number is the CABIN adoption curve after the IBC debut. If PIP closes even one named client at scale, the subnet has an off-chain revenue attribution model that most subnets in this ecosystem do not yet have. Category placement: Vidaio joins Verathos from episode 21 and Red Team from episode 20 as subnets with real off-chain revenue. Different verticals, same underlying pattern. When Root Reborn's curation opens later this year, this is the category validators will overweight. Risks: CABIN has not shipped publicly yet. PIP's client relationships have not been confirmed as CABIN contracts. Video generation is a fast-moving frontier where model quality shifts weekly. Educational segment: Teutonic at 10 billion parameters beat Covenant at 72 billion. Why should you care as a TAO holder? Parameter count is not the right proxy for model quality. It has never been, but the crypto ecosystem has repeatedly used it as if it were, because it is a big number that is easy to say out loud. What actually determines model quality? 3 things. 1. Training data quality and coverage. A 10 billion model trained on the right token mix outperforms a 100 billion model trained on garbage. 2. Distributed training efficiency. Bittensor's pre-training subnets exist to close the efficiency gap versus centralized data centers. IOTA and Teutonic are the 2 live tests. 3. Post-training. RLHF, DPO, task-specific fine-tunes. A smaller base with disciplined post-training pulls ahead of a bigger base without it. For alpha allocation, do not accept parameter count as the pitch. Ask which benchmarks a model wins against which peers, using how much compute, on what data. Teutonic's ranking on 8 of 11 benchmarks against models 7 times larger is exactly that kind of testable claim. When Root Reborn's curation opens, subnets with measurable benchmark wins against larger competitors are the ones structurally positioned to survive. That is it for this week. If you found this useful, subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you next Saturday.